kind of goes with this once saved, always saved, if saved saying that I always hear Brother Parrish talk about. You know, a lot of people we go out visiting, I'd say 90% of the people say they're saved. You know, that's just what they're going to say. And we're not to nobody to judge that for sure. And I'd never judge anybody on that now, especially since I was working on my testimony and I had problems with justifying my salvation at 13 the way I acted till I was 40. So in doing that, I was looking, searching things for evidence of being saved. And one thing I come up with was fruits of salvation. Another thing I come up with is once you are saved and you backslide, there's a such thing as crowns. I don't know if anybody's ever studied anything on the crowns of heaven. That's what we'll be talking about tonight. First off, on the crowns in heaven, not everybody in heaven will receive one. You can go to heaven and not have a crown. Going to heaven is for salvation, and that basically disqualifies you for a crown. Because to get a crown, you have to already have been, be in heaven. It's something that you won't receive here. And like I say, being saved don't justify a crown. There'll be a lot of people in heaven that don't have a crown. The crowns are awarded in heaven for Christians that do far and beyond what the average Christian does for God while they're here on earth. These crowns ain't accidentally achieved. It's an intentional act of striving for things that require much more sacrifice and endurance and faith than the average Christians are willing to do. If you got your Bibles, turn to Romans 2, 6 and 7. I can just read. There's a way on it sometimes, but not the fastest with this. Okay, you going to help me read some of these? Look up 1 Corinthians 15:8. Yeah. Somebody else want to look up Galatians 6, 7 and 9? Chapter 6, verse 7 and 9. Romans 2, chapter 2, verse 6 and 7. It says, "Who will render to every man according to his deeds? To them who patient continuance and well-doing seek the glory and honor of immortality for eternal life." So basically, he's telling you right there who will render. He will render the deeds to every man according. Render his crown to every man according to his deeds. Some people won't even have deeds. Some people's not even. I think I've probably been like that. Everybody knows somebody like that that's saved, and they're saved. Like I said, salvation is believing. It ain't got nothing to do with works. You hear that a million times. You can't get to heaven by works. But once you get there, if you ain't worked down here, you're finna be stuck without a crown. And you feel like something like I could say, somebody out there without the uniform on. In a ball game, you're out there playing with the team, and you got your regular old clothes on. You're gonna stand out a little bit, especially when you go up to bat. You're not gonna fit in like you would want to. Whether it bothers anybody else or not, it's gonna bother you more than it bother anybody else. You got 1 Corinthians 15:8.
15 verse 8.
Yes, sir.
And last of all, we will speak of me also as of one born out of due time.
Okay, 9 and 10, I'm sorry.
For I am the least of the apostles, but am not meet to be called an apostle, but I persecuted the church of God. But by the grace of God I am well known, and his grace which was bestowed upon
Hold on a minute, I'm sorry. 58. 15:58. Just like that verse don't sound like something I've been studying. My bad. That looks a little better.
What did you say?
Yeah, I wrote down 15:8. big one right there, you know. Some people say, well, I'm saved, what's the use, you know? There's a big use. He says it right there, it's not going to be in vain what you do. It's in vain if you ain't saved. But it's not in vain if you know you're saved and your salvation's good and you know what you gather up down here is all you're going to get. That's it. Because, you know, anything down here is not going to go to heaven. We all know we can't take nothing with us to heaven. Galatians 6, 7, 9. 6, chapter 6, 7 through 9.
Do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for whatever one sows, one will also reap. But the one who sows to his own flesh will from flesh reap corruption. But the one who sows to the Spirit will from the Spirit reap eternal life. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up.
That's right. You know, so but basically, you know, he's saying right there first that you're going to reap what you sow in a bad way. We all know that. But right under that, he says the same thing for being in the Spirit is let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap. You know, it just some of us, I think we get on fire, and I'm just as guilty as anybody, and we'll be going right on along, and then we quit. I don't mean we ain't going to heaven. That's a good thing, you know. But what he says is, if you quit, you ain't getting that crown. And we'll see here in a minute that there's 5 different crowns, and there's ways, you know, and the only person in the Bible that I know of that got more than one was Apostle Paul. I've been reading, I don't know, it may be different, you know, but there's every one of them got crowns, but Apostle Paul was, I may be wrong, I haven't studied that deep, but I know the Apostle Paul got 2, and you know, there was other people that, or they may have gotten them, but they're not in the Bible as presented to in the Bible that I've found, you know. And like I said, I'm going to end up doing a study on them individually, and I'll be a whole lot more in depth on each one of them at that time. But somebody want to look up Revelations 22:12 and 1 Corinthians 3, 7 and 8. You know, I talk to people about this sometimes. A lot of times people don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know about the fact that there's something else besides going to heaven. You know, there's different awards and prizes for when you get there. And just as athletes are rewarded with trophies and plaques and rings for their achievements and hard work, so are we awarded with a crown in heaven for work done here on earth for God and by God. I got 1 Corinthians 3, 7, 8. It says, so then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but God that giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. So what he's saying there is God, you know, what you can do is you can water and you can plant, but God's going to do the increase, but there's a reward for that. And that reward is, you know, it's all these that I'm reading off here, that we're reading out these scriptures fit into one of these categories. You know, that one right there fits into the crown of rejoicing. That's a soul winner's crown. You know, I should have turned it over a while ago and done this, but the soul winner's crown is a crown. It's one who passionately tries to win souls for the Lord. That's where that one will fit in right there. You know, that's basically telling you right there that the man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. Like I said, out of the 5 crowns, that's the one that one will fit into. Somebody have Revelations 22:12.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be.
There's something I realized on that one there. You know, that's Jesus talking. So, now behold, I come quickly, my reward is with me to give every man. That is that fits into one of these categories here, and I hadn't really quite looked exactly which one, but that's Jesus. That's the one that, you know, there's in the Bible here it says, you know, God gives some of them and Jesus gives some of them. The way I interpret it is that's Jesus talking, you know, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according to his work. Well, the one that Jesus is going to that's the victor's crown, is the one who finishes the race and dies to himself. That's what, I mean, I haven't, like I said, we're going to study those later, but all these verses right here fit into one of these crowns. And I'm going to go ahead and go over these crowns right quick so we'll know what they are. The victor's crown is the one who finishes the race. That's somebody who does it all the way to the end. Paul was one of those. Right when he was dying, he was still witnessing to Timothy on his deathbed, you know. I think there's some of us that give up the fight for Christ when they know that they give up the fight for life, and they'll just kind of sit there, you know. It's not going to count against your heaven. You're just not going to get the crown, the victor's crown, which says, run the race to the end. And in that verse it says, paraphrasing, it says, all that run the race are running. So just because you're running don't mean you're going to get the crown for that. You got to run to the end, you know. You got to finish the race. It's like a marathon, you know. Just because you run it, start off and do 3 out of 4 laps, you're not going to get the crown. You got to do all 4 of them to get the crown, you know. That's the victor's crown. The crown of righteousness is those who live a good and righteous life on earth. And in parentheses, that's waiting on his appearing. That's another one that Paul got. And when I look through here, Paul may have every one of these, but this is the only 2 that I've studied deep into. The crown of righteousness, those who live a good and righteous life while on earth, waiting on his appearing. If y'all can imagine what that means, appearing in the Bible is waiting on his somebody to see him, waiting on his coming. So I would ask all y'all, are y'all ready? And the ones that say yeah, you're going to get that crown if you're really ready. But if you say but you ain't quite ready to see Jesus yet, you know, then you may not get that crown. What you're going to do is, instead of getting that crown, you're going to answer that on the judgment seat. And see, this is when you get these, on the judgment seat. You can imagine your daddy saying, you know, son, you done real good on your report card, but that way you talk that teacher today ain't going to work. So get in the bedroom there. I'm proud of your report card, but I'm going to bust your butt for talking to your teacher like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of what that relates to. You know, he's proud of you, but you still have to have, you know, some issues there. And I think that's kind of what it's saying to me, is that you're going to go to heaven if you're saved, but you ain't going to get this crown of righteousness, which Paul got, because down to the end of back to his last breath, he was still working for God, you know. The crown of life, that's known as the martyr's crown. People who died physically for Jesus, or took severe hardship or physical death. Crown of rejoicing, like I said, that's the soul winner's crown. And the 5th one is the crown of glory. They consider that the shepherd's crown. That falls into the category of your preachers and your teachers that are shepherding, you know, that are herding their flock. Somebody that's, one part that says the Bible is it's paraphrasing, it's the new Christians, the new saved Christians fall into this category of being shepherded. Now when they get saved, you know, a lot of times they don't know how to read the Bible, they don't know how to interpret things, they really, and it's just what Brother Aaron's done with me, you know, and even Brother Shannon, I go over and we read the Bible, he tells me things that, you know, that if I was, had been grounded in the Bible all my life, I might not need to know. I might already know that. There's just things that some people take for common sense. I don't know. The Hebrew was the Old Testament, or Greek was the Old Testament, Hebrew was the New Testament, or vice versa. Greek was the New Testament, Hebrew was the Old Testament. Stuff like that matters when you start looking this stuff up. You know, you look up one of them words, what you're trying to find out, you look it up in Greek, you sit there and try to put that in the verse, and it just don't fit. And then you don't understand. Well, that's because I wasn't ever told. I didn't go to class for that. So somebody has to come to you and say, "Hey, look, you know what a concordance is?" I'm like, couldn't spell it. You know, but when they take the time and say, look, man, let me show you. Let me find something here in this verse here. It's got two different words. It means, the same word means 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10 different things in the Bible. You know, we come across that all the time, especially in this King James Version. The other versions, they break that down for you. That's the difference, you know. But studying in this Bible, you really have to have somebody that's going to explain to you what's going on. And I want to say this too, that somebody look up Revelation 4, 10 through 11. I can't put them right here. This is something that I've always heard. You know, you always hear somebody saying, put something at Jesus' feet, have something laid at Jesus' feet. In that verse there, in this verse 10, it says, the 4 and 20 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasures they are and were created. Well, how can, you know, you think you say heaven's going to be only so big, well, you don't ever know how it's going to be, but I know this, there's going to be a lot of people up there. Compared to how many people's on earth, I don't know. But can you imagine getting up there to see Jesus right up next to him and being able to get at his feet without giving him something? And there's people up there got something to give him. You're going to have to wait in line for a long time. You're going to stand around looking like this right here going, you know, when all the people's up there at his feet, they got something to give him. You know, that crown puts you above them people. You're still going to be in heaven, but you're going to have a different seat in a way of, you got something to give him. You know, you're going to have something to be able to go up to God with. And I would hate to think that I walked around and looked, and I've been out witnessing and stuff, and you never know who you talk to, and they still start growing in the Lord, and there I am up there, and I ain't got a crown, this guy's wearing too. You know, you just don't know. You just if you're not setting yourself up for something like that, you could just be, like you said at first, you could just be an average Christian and not fall into any of these categories. You could run that race till you just got tired, you know, and you ain't that you fell into sin, you just got tired. Well, that victor's race is, you better get in shape so you don't tire out. And that in shape is right here in the Bible, being spiritually in shape. So for the victor's crown, you don't want it, it's a race that endures to the end. Like it says in there, just because all that race are running. Just because you quit, you're running don't mean you will get that crown. And I think that's something that if you can put yourself in heaven first, you got to think to yourself, what else is there going to be up there to be able to show you're worthy on earth? It's all you got. Because one thing about it is, I haven't got to that part yet, but it says, any works we do and then accept the earthly crown will perish and not be rewarded in heaven. So you can sit there and do every one of these. You can go witness to everybody. Boy, everybody you get saved, you tell everybody, boy, I was witness this guy, he got saved, and blah, blah. And you shout it out there to the world and telling everybody about it in the wrong way instead of praising it in here. You ain't going to get that crown. It says it right up. It says it 2 or 3 times in the Bible. It says, verily, verily, you have received your crown. That reward is already received. And when I go, eventually if I do this again, I'm going to go through and pick one of these out at a time. And it's got about 10 good scriptures with each one of them. These scriptures are just something I picked out that kind of tells you, kind of lays down the assurance that there are crowns that can be received in heaven for doing something that's a little bit more than ordinary for Christians to do. I'm going to look up Matthew 6, 16 through 18. And I know this ain't going to last no hour and a half. I think that's what I've been on here till 8 o'clock. Now, Brother Aaron don't usually last that long, does he? All right. I just think these crowns was something I didn't hear about them that long ago, but I've always had them in my mind that it gives you something to strive for. I mean, because if you really know in your heart you're saved, you can get lazy. I mean, how would you not? just like any football team or anything else, you're going to the playoffs when there was a game or two in there that you just kind of slack on. Or if you're for sure of something and no matter what the result is for the rest of the race, you're going to slow down, And this is something that when you dig into these things here, if you can put yourself in heaven, like I said, and imagine being up there and having something to walk up to Jesus with, you may not get that close. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, like I said, that the judgment is all you want's trouble. Because we're all going to get judged for something. But wouldn't it be nice to have that on while you get judged? You know what I mean? One or all, it don't matter. Let's stand up there naked-headed, You're going to be thinking, boy, you finna get a whooping now. Because first of all, he going to look out at you and say, you ain't done nothing. Ever. But when you walk up there and you got them crowns, and the first thing he's going to say is, you can just imagine him saying, well, you're going to have to be judged for these things, but it's just like that mom, saying, well, you brought your report card home on the same day, boy, that you got to talk back to the teacher now. We'll deal with this talking back to the teacher right quick, and then we'll talk about your report card, If you ain't got no good report card, that talking to the teacher thing's going to hurt a lot worse. You know what I mean? And that's just the way I look at it. I'm just kind of using that as an example. Does somebody have Matthew 6, 16 to 18? I'll go ahead and read it. This one here would be dealing with with what I was talking about in Revelations about. This is actually to do with any of your crowns. Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad continuance, for they disfigure their faces, which means if they're out there fasting, they're making everybody know about it. They had nothing to drink all day and all week, or I ain't getting to watch TV, or whatever they're fasting about. They're letting everybody know it, first of all. And whining about it is what it says right there, with disfigured faces, that they may appear unto men as to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have had their reward. You can do all that stuff you want to, but if you're doing it for the wrong reasons and to get that attention, or to try to hold yourself up in front of man, you can forget it. It ain't going up there. Because basically what you're doing is you're wearing your crown on earth. If you ever accept a crown, that's why I tell Brother Aaron sometimes, he talks about, well, thank somebody for doing this. I said, man, you just straight robbing people. Sometimes, when it ain't necessary, thank so-and-so for doing this. Well, man, I'm 44 years old. I don't know how much longer I got to get built up on the crown. If you go telling everybody, but he says, oh, I don't mean it like that. Well, that's the way I take it. It'd be no different me standing up saying, boy, we got all them fires done in there. What would that sound like? To the people that wasn't there. Well, maybe they didn't get asked. Maybe they couldn't do it. Maybe they didn't. It ain't for me to stand up and say, we did this, we did that. So basically doing that is in vain. Once you do that, you sponsor your will. That's it. That's what that verse right there is telling me. He says, and then it says on down to 17, but though when thou fastest, anoint thine head and wash thy face. Okay, that's a different look than being disfigured. That's a whole different outlook on it right there. That thou appear not unto men to fast. You gotta hide everything you do, is what he's saying. Hide it. Don't let them know. Don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing, because if you do, it's in vain. He says, though thou appear unto men to fast, not though thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto the Father which is in secret. The only person that matters anyway. He's the only one to give you a crown. You go tell people down here they're going to try to give you a crown, and you guess what? You just spont that too. As this all kind of goes together. It says, and thy Father seeth, which seeth in secret, shall reward thee openly. There you go, up there, in front of everybody. You get your reward. Down here, you can carry around all you want to. The crown means this church, pretty as everything, and you can have everybody talking about it, but the minute you perish, buddy, so is the crown. That's it, you ain't getting any more. Jeremiah 13:18. See what that says. have me do this again, but if y'all hear that, like, through the grapevine or something, or this is what I'm gonna be doing for a while, but next time I'm gonna take them one at a time, and I'll give them back out in that order, but, these 5 right here, they have that's deep, you can do really deep into that and see who got the crown, why they got it, and, what it takes to get it, and I think that's a good study right there. Jeremiah 13:18.
What is it?
Jeremiah 13:18. Can't go to it.
Say unto the king and to the queen, humble yourselves, sit down, for your principalities shall come down, even the crown of your glory.
Okay, that goes into one with the crown of glory is what I got to go down here for. And, for Shannon or for Brother Ann or whoever is going to teach me something, they have to first humble themselves. Humble yourselves and sit down. Just stop a minute. That's what teachers do. They have to sit down and teach you usually. They have to humble themselves. If it's a lady teaching in the 8th grade, she's so much smarter than that, she can't teach like she's smart. She has to get on the level of whoever she's teaching. She has to humble herself that way. Whether you're teaching kindergarten or whether you're teaching 12th grade and you're a college teacher, what good is a college teacher going to do you with all that education if he comes in there and teaches you like your college? Kind of like football. You take a professional coach and put him in high school, he probably ain't going to make it too far because he's going to try to coach you like a professional. What he's saying right here is to say unto the king and the queen, humble yourselves, sit down, for your principality shall come down, and even your crown of glory. So that's in essence, that's what you can cheat a little bit, get online and pull up crown of glory, and it'll give you about 40 scriptures you can look at. Some of them kind of make sense to me with it, some of them don't. I found out you got to get that with this King James Bible. You got to get that concordance out, and that just takes a long time. But it sure makes a difference when you figure out what it's saying. And then there's times in Sunday school we use that Holyfield. What is that Bible called? We use that in Sunday school and looking. I can take my lesson and look at that. And then look at the King James Version, and any word that's different is the most important word in that verse. Period. It's every time. Any word they change in this book is the word you need to be studying. Just about, it's when they change it, they're changing it because people don't understand it in the King James Version. Or because it means what it don't really sound like. Like, if you read it 2 or 3 different words, the same word in 2 or 3 different verses, in the King James Version, it'll say something totally different in that other book, but it's because it means something different. Even in the same chapter, the same word could be 3 different things. So I found that if you in studying, you can take this King James Version and you see what they changed. That's usually the words that if you flip back and and I used to be lazy about it, and they tell you something like give you this little footnote over here, L, and you look over here at L. Sometimes it's got the word like uncovered. That's really nice when you look over and see uncovered and put it with that. But sometimes it goes like this, Jeremiah 4:31. Well, then you got to go over here, and then you got 4 or 5 fingers in this book trying to figure out what a verse means, But I've done found out that I think Brother Steve Parrish said it one time. He said you can take it. Everybody's got their own opinion, but you can take the King James Version, just bite you off one little piece of it, chew on it for a while, and you get more out of it than you would if you just went through a book and not knew what parts of it was, what there was a lot of meaning in. Now, that don't mean every time that is, but I know this is if you see a word that you don't understand, if you've got a computer, you can go to that concordance, and you'll be amazed on how many times they use that word in the Bible. Some of them will be 40 different. I don't understand why they did that, but I guess it's a translation between Greek and American, our writing. But it just it makes a big difference on what you get out of it. that scripture. Matter of fact, I had some scriptures in here that I was going to use, and when I got to looking at them, it meant right the opposite of what I was trying to say. I mean, exactly the opposite. The word was charge. And it just means a bunch of different things. And it's one of them verses where I had just come across and wrote down. It wasn't something I was referred to. And I thought, man, I remember that. I had a tablet with a bunch of verses on it, and I went to flipping through there to see which ones would go with this, and boy, that one just went right with it. And I checked that word, and it meant a totally different thing. So, has anybody else got anything that they want to talk about on these grounds? I'm sure everybody understands it enough to know what I'm talking about, but I just want you to understand that I think this is something that it's really the only thing that you got going for you when you get up there. And that ought to mean something, because you know, you can be as good as you want to be down here, and you're not going to get any of these crowns unless you do something on purpose. It's not something you go like, hey man, you did a good job, you did a crown. Really? No, I don't think so. I think when you get up there, you're going to be hoping you get one. Sometimes you may not. But I don't think you're ever going to walk up there and just say, well, really? Sweet, man. I think, you know, when you do this, when you go out on a limb like this, it's going to be something that you understand that's a little bit extra than what some ordinary Christians would do. And that's basically how it puts it. It's not something that's guaranteed, that's for sure. You know, it makes you wonder why people, well, why would they get to go to heaven? They're acting like this, and why? And this guy over here is doing this, and they're going to get the same ticket? Yeah. But they're going to get a different seat. In this way right here anyway. I don't know if they got chairs there. I ain't talking about that kind of seat. But I'm talking about this. If you want a chance for sure to get up close to Jesus, have a crown. Because he's going to give it to you. And that's going to put you where you need to be able to be beside Jesus. And that's the way I look at it. Heaven's going to be a big place. I've been told this analogy before about the football field, and I probably said it to y'all, some of y'all. I looked at it like a football field in heaven, because I never could figure out how everybody would have the same seat in heaven, because there's so many people doing different things, and some really good things, some things that are good, and there's some things you think, man, you know, but if you can't judge him if he's saved, if he believes what he's supposed to believe in, he's saved. Once saved, always saved, if saved. But the thing is, there's a lot of people saved, it's just backslid. That don't mean that they're going to go to hell. Excuse me. That don't mean they're not going to go to heaven. But this is the way I can interpret that there's a reason to especially this one here, it's got the one that says his appearing. It's probably one of the hardest ones to be ready at all times. You know, you hear some people say, come on, Lord, boy. Now I know you have to think back of your mind and think, I'm ready right now. You know, you always think, boy, you can't repent of all your sins. What if you've been sinning that morning and you drive to work and got killed? You know, some of us have to think that. Well, how can you repent from every sin? How do you know when you're going to die all the time? Well, that one right there, that crown of righteousness is basically telling you, you got to strive to always be in check on that. And that just takes what David did. Remember in Psalm 51, when David got down and he just poured it out to him and prayed to God and told him, just cleanse me. You know, and if somebody's got something in their heart, in their mind, in their soul that's keeping them, that you don't think, well, if he went come right now, well, oh, man, you know what? If you're saved, ain't but one thing keeping you from being able to clean that up. Let's get down there and repent. Ask forgiveness and repent. And start walking the other way. And if you can't do that, then I guess you just have to depend on one of these other 4 crowns. You know, don't say you have to have them all 5, did you? You said you just get one. But has anybody else got anything on that? You know, if I find out that I'm going to do another one of these, like I said, I've done the study on the victor's crown and the crown of righteousness. And that's why I said earlier that I know Paul got those 2. I don't know if, right now I only know Paul got 2. The other guys, I didn't see that. There's some in there that died for Jesus, you know, martyrs, just like Stephen. You know, he's definitely going to get that crown. the martyr's crown, which is crown of life. Whether he gets any of the other ones, these crowns, I want to say too, these crowns right here are uncorruptible. You know, so when you get these crowns, there's nothing can take them away from you, because one thing, you can't get them to you up there. So, you know, it's something that's going to be forever. And eternity is a long time, and that's just, I think that ought to be some reason for some of us to, and myself to, selfishly saying, pick one out, you know. Whichever one you think you come closest to, because I'd hate to know that I didn't have one at all. If anybody else ain't got anything, we should turn there. Oh, that's plenty close. I'm going to close this off in prayer, and just want to remind everybody about the revival. If you haven't invited somebody, it may be one of the best blessings you ever done for them, whether it be any revival. It's like one of these, this is, you know, what he said, some seed, some water. When you invite somebody to a revival and it changes their life, you just plant the seed of water, one or the other. God made the increase, but somehow or other, them flyers we send out, and you're working on those, you're working on seed in some sort of way. And, you know, like I said, in that verse it said, they will be done, their deeds according to their labor. So, there's no, it don't say how much you have to do to get what kind of crown, and I haven't studied it enough to know how big the crown can get. You know what I mean? But I know you can get one by planting seeds. That's what it says. And that's as much witnessing people at work. It didn't say you had to save them. It didn't say you had to bring them to Christ. You know, because not everybody's going to be able to do that. But people out here can plant a seed and come into church, and then the shepherd gets a hold of them, and that's his crown, you know. And he can get them down there and bring them to Christ. You're gonna get a crown, and he's gonna get a crown, and then whoever gets after him later can get a crown for you know, walking through the Christian walk. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for people to be able to have something to justify a little extra work or a little more conviction. Because somebody that knows they're saved, you ain't telling them different. You know what I mean? I battled that with myself, and when I give my testimony, you'll know that I battled it lately. Because I lived wrong, man, from 13 to 40. I lived bad. Until I realized and started studying what being saved was, I didn't realize I wasn't saved when I got on that altar and asked God to work in my life and clean me up in front of my kids, in front of my church, and went right there and asked Brother Aaron for the microphone and told everybody in front of the whole church I was sinning. And I was, you know, basically I give my life to God right there. At 13 years old, I give my, you know, I ain't saying nothing about it. Some kids can maybe do it, but the church can't save it, you know. You don't really know what you're getting saved from, you know. So there's a lot of people that maybe running on that salvation that really all they got to do is get back down on that altar. Ask God for that forgiveness again, and you'll find out real quick. Because I did. That's when He'd give me forgiveness. He'd give me peace about stuff. He'd give me soul winning right that day almost, you know. And that's the fruit that you get from knowing you're being saved. And I'm just blessed that we're all blessed that we have a preacher and everybody else that has a preacher that cares about you. We don't just say, man, you're saved. All right, buddy. See you later. Don't invite you to church and say, man, I don't know where they're at. And, you know, for a while, you got to admit, Brother Aaron chased you down for a little bit, you know. And I think that's what that's talking about. So if y'all want to bow with me, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you for this day. Lord, I just hope what I said come out right, Lord. I was trying to, as hard as I could, Lord, to study what I was giving the message on today. Lord, I hope I didn't confuse anybody, Lord. I hope that they got at least enough out of this message, Lord, to go home and study it, and if they can prove me wrong, that would be great, Lord, that they go home and study and dig a little bit on it, Lord. I just thank you for the desire that you've given me to try to do that, Lord. I thank you, Lord, for the people you put in my life lately. Lord, I just ask you to keep your hands on Brother Steve Parrish as he drives down here, Lord, and just comfort him on the message that you have him deliver. Lord, the same with the Hartley family, just protect them on the way down here, Lord. And, give them peace about the music that you want to hear, want to sing to the community, Lord. I just ask you for a community of unity, that we can all come together, no matter what denomination it is, Lord, and just worship you and worship the fact that you sent your son to die on the cross for us, Lord, and that's what we're there for, Lord. No matter what denomination we are, we're just there to lift you up and what your son did for us, Lord, and what he's still doing for us. Lord, we just ask you to go ahead and camp out angels around that building, starting right now, Lord, to keep anything evil or any demons around that building, Lord. I just ask you to cast them out now, that all souls that walk in there will be cleansed, Lord. Lord, I just want to say a big thanks, Lord, for the fact that we're getting to use the school building for this revival, Lord. It says a lot for our community. First of all, to be able to get to do that, it's like a little unspoken thing to our kids that they don't even know yet, really, that the fact that their school is letting them have a revival there is a blessing, because that stuff don't happen in every school, Lord. I just ask you to touch the hearts of the ones who that you know need to hear that message, Lord. Just put them in the path somehow or another with somebody that can invite them and take them if they have to be, Lord. I just ask you to pour your blessings out on this community before the revival, during the revival, and after the revival. That when Brother Parrish leaves, Lord, that the revival just carries on, and revival goes out through this town, through the city, and through the state, to the nation, Lord. That we'll have true revival. Lord, I just thank you from just the bottom of my heart, Lord, for our politics now that almost was unspoken to talk about in the pulpit, Lord. I just thank you for raising the evangelistics up this year to come out and vote, Lord. That we barely slid past this abortion deal, Lord. I just don't know how close our country was to this legal abortion and some of the things that was going on, Lord. I just thank you for that. I thank you for the